All right, section 5.2, changing between percents, decimals, and fractions. Objective 1, change between percent and fraction notation. Number 1 says, how do you change from a percent to a fraction? So let's say we have a percent here. Say we've got 20%. We want to change this percent to a fraction. Well, we know from the previous section how to change a percent to a decimal. So let's do that first. Okay, so you drop the percent sign, you move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So if we change 20% to a decimal, we get 0.2 or 2/10. Now we know from a previous chapter how to change decimals into fractions. If you recall, the decimal part of the number becomes the numerator. So in this case, the decimal part is 2. So 2 is going to become the numerator. And in the denominator, we have 2/10. So the denominator will be 2. The denominator will be 10. Or again, you can think of it as 1, and the number of zeros equals the number of decimal places. So in this case, we have 1 decimal place, so 1 0. And we always want to remember to reduce, so we can divide the top and bottom by 2. And we get, let's see, 1/5. Okay, so again, we took our percent, changed it to a decimal, and then changed the decimal to a fraction. Okay, so that's the procedure. Let's see some examples here. 2a says we want to write as a fraction in simplest form, so we have 4% in a, so 4%. First, remember, we're going to write percent as a decimal. We change this to a decimal, we get 0.04, right, or 4 hundredths. We change the decimal into a fraction, we get 4 over 100. And then when we reduce, we get 1 over 25. Okay, let's see, part B, we got 8.4%. So as a decimal, we change this to a decimal, this would be 0.084. Okay. And then we want to change the decimal to a fraction, so this would be 84 over 1,000. And when we reduce, we get 21 over 250. Okay, and part C, we've got 36.75%. Okay, so as a decimal, this would be 36, or this would be 0.3675. That's what we get when we change it to a decimal. Then when we change it to a fraction, we get 3,675 over 10,000. And when we reduce, let's see, we divide both the top and bottom by 25, and we get 147 over 400. Okay, let's see, part D. We've got 425%. Well, when we change this to a decimal, move the decimal place 2 places to the left, we get 4.25. All right, and remember how we changed these to mixed numbers. See, our whole number here, the 4, is going to be the whole number in our fraction, or in our mixed number. So 4, the whole number stays the same. Then the decimal part is going to become the fraction part, so that we get 25 over 100. Okay, 4 stays the same. We reduce the fraction part, divide both the top and bottom by 25. We get 1 over 4. Okay, and E, we've got 208%. Okay, so we change that to a decimal. We get 2.08. Okay. So again, we're going to have a mixed number. The 2 is our whole number. That stays the same. So 2 and 8 over 100. Okay. We're going to simplify. So the 2 stays the same. We can divide the top and bottom by 4, and we get 2 over 25. So 2 over 25. Okay. All right, number 3. How do you change from a fraction to a percent? So now we're going the other way. So let's say we have a fraction, 1/4. We're going to change this to a percent. So we're basically going to go in the opposite order. We're going to take the fraction, change it into a decimal, and then change the decimal into a percent. Okay. So if you recall how to change a fraction into a decimal, you divide the denominator into the numerator. So just as a quick review here, let's see, divide the 4 into 1. I'm going to have to add a decimal point. 4 won't go into 1. Okay, but 4 will go into 10 twice. 8. Subtract 2. Add a 0. Let's see, 4 goes into 25 times. 0. Okay. So you divide the denominator into the numerator. In this case, 4 into 1. You get 0.25. Okay. And just like we did in the previous section, we changed the decimal into a percent by moving the decimal place moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So the decimal point would go right behind the 5. So this would become 25%. Okay. So again, you take the fraction, change the fraction into a decimal, and then change the decimal into a percent. So let's see some examples. Okay, so 3/8. When you change 3/8 into a decimal, divide the 8 into 3, you get, let's see, 0.375. Okay, so that's the decimal. Then change the decimal into a percent by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So that will become 37.5%. Okay, change for part B here, we have 7 over 40. Divide 40 into 7, we get 0.175. Okay. Move the decimal point 2 places to the right, so that becomes 17.5%. All right, for part C, we've got 39 over 50. We'll divide 50 into 39. We get 0.78. Okay, move the decimal point 2 places to the right, so we get 78%. 7 over 16. Divide the 16 into 7. We get 0.4375. Okay. Move the decimal point 2 places to the right. We get 43.75%. Okay, let's see. This one is a little different. If you divide 30 into 19, you get, let's see, 0.63 repeating. So the 3 repeats here. just like that. Okay, and here if we move the decimal point, let's see, move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Let's see here, so 1, 2. The decimal point goes right behind that 3, that first 3 right there, so this becomes 63.333. The 3 repeats, percent. Okay, or we can shorten that up as 63.3, repeating with the bar over the 3 and with the percent sign. Okay. F, we've got 19 over 10, so this is improper fraction. When we change this to a decimal, divide the 10 and the 9, I'm sorry, divide the 10 into the 19, you get 1.9. Okay. Change the 1.9 into a percent, move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and we get 190%.